who will be leading the whole panel discussion, moderating the whole panel discussion, would like to invite him first of all. So, नाम बाद में introduction पहले दे देते. He is an engineering graduate and postgraduate from IIT Roorkee. He has an experience of over 30 years in the field of environment, health, safety and sustainability. Currently, he is heading EHS and sustainability in Alembic Pharmaceutical Limited. Previously, he has headed EHS function in PI Industry Limited, Atul Limited, other companies. He has worked as like Jubilant Life Science Limited, UPL and Ambuja Cements. His area of interest are process safety management and carbon footprint reduction. So, तालियां कैसी होनी चाहिए? Let's invite Sushil Karakwal sir with a round of applause everyone. Energy के साथ. Thank you so much sir for being here. Thank you so much sir. And now mic is yours, panel discussion is yours. Thank you so much. So sir will be helping us for 60 minutes. Thank you so much.
Okay, 60 minutes. Thank you Bhavin bhai. It's a bit unfair to us because we have four panelists here and 60 minutes. You had given 2 panelists 50 minutes. Anyway, we'll try to manage. And the unfortunate thing is that we are first time EHS people are speaking in front of HR professionals, and we are not as eloquent as HR people are. Actually, they don't need even presentations to speak out. They can talk extempore, but we need presentation. We are crude people from the shop floors. So please help us. Please excuse us for our crudeness. So let me first introduce, Let me first introduce my first panelist, Dr. Madhur. Can you come on the stage, please? Dr. Madhur Saxena, he is an expert in EHS, but safety is his core area. He has done his PhD. He is currently General Manager, Head of Deepak Nitrite EHS. He has done PhD in Industrial Safety from Grantown University, USA, and Certified Safety Professional from Board of Certified Safety Professionals. Also an accredited auditor of Responsible Care, 14001. His experience spans in 25 years in strategy, planning, safety audits and inspections, sustainability development, process enhancement, and plant operations. He has worked with DCM Shriram's earlier, Bharuch, Jubilant Life Sciences, that was Jubilant Ingravia, Gajrola, Chambal Fertilizers and Chemicals, and Yara Fertilizers, India, Babrola. So very well experienced and very good expert to start with our session. But let me call other experts also. Yeah, Mr. Chinmay Saha, please come on the stage. Chinmay Saha is BE Environment, PDIS, NEBOS, IGC, and lead auditor in ISO 14000, ISO 45000, ISO 9000, Chartered Engineer, Certified ESG Practitioner, and Leadership and Management from IIM Calcutta. He has worked more than 28 years in working with currently Gulbrandsen, and he has in the past, he has worked in National Environment Engineering Research Institute, NEERI, the premier institute on environment in India, DCM Shriram again, Prakash Industries, PI Industries, and currently working Gulbrandsen. So his major work areas are, he is heading currently as Assistant Vice President Head Environment, Health and Safety and Chemical Stewardship at Gulbrandsen. Expertise is in handling and driving environment, health and safety compliances, obtaining permissions, handled MOEF, CC, State Pollution Control Board, Factory Act. Very good knowledge. He's a personal friend of mine. He's got very good knowledge on legal compliances on EHS matters. So any question on legal compliances can be very well handled by him. So, and our next panelist is Mr. Pinal Patel. Please come on the stage. Mr. Pinal Patel is EHS Director, India for Alstom Transport India Limited at Bangalore. He is mechanical engineer basically with post-diploma in industrial safety. He has International General Certificate of Occupational Safety and Health from UK. He is accredited EHS Roadmap Assessor from Alstom. SEPI, that's Severe Accident Prevention Initiative Champion. He is Alstom's International EHS Passport holder, NEBOSH holder, and auditor of ISO 14001 and 45000. He has total 27 years of experience. So we have very knowledgeable experts on EHS matters. Mr. Pinal is an expert on safety, whereas both the other gentlemen are expert on EHS matters, safety and environment both. So you can ask any questions to them. Now we have 55 minutes left. I'll not summarize their presentations. I'll just ask them to complete their, and we'll try to finish in lesser time so that more time is given to the question answers, because I see many of the people are excited and interested in EHS related questions, because in HR forums they keep listening from HR people, so this is first time they would be interacting with EHS people. So we'll try to cover up more time on question answer sessions. So I'll invite Mr. Mayur first, Dr. Mayur first, to give his sorry, Madhu. Sorry. Yeah.
Can I have my presentation? छह जुलाई 1988, कितने लोगों को ध्यान है? 6 जुलाई 1988 रात के 10 बजे 9:55 राइट टाइम बोलूं तो मैं, एक ऐसा धमाका हुआ जिसने पूरी दुनिया को हिला के रख दिया। 190 किलोमीटर दूर स्कॉटलैंड से नॉर्थ सी में एक बहुत ही बड़ा प्लेटफॉर्म था। याद है किसी को नाम? क्या नाम था? यस, पाइपर अल्फा। वर्ल्ड का नंबर 1 प्लेटफॉर्म जिसमें हाईएस्ट प्रोडक्शन 40,000 मीटर क्यूब पर डे के हिसाब से प्रोडक्शन होता था। वहां पे सारी फैसिलिटीज वहां पे अवेलेबल थी, स्विमिंग पूल, पब, बार, ईच एंड एवरीथिंग वहां मौजूद थी। किसी ने सोचा भी नहीं था कि जो प्लेटफॉर्म 185 किलोमीटर पर आवर के हिसाब से समुद्र का प्रेशर झेल सकता है, वो कुछ घंटों में टूट के समुद्र में समा जाएगा। 167 लोग मारे गए, 21 लोग आज तक नहीं मिले, कहां गए कुछ नहीं पता। जो लोग बचे वो भी बाद में धीरे धीरे करके मारे गए। स्कॉटलैंड में उनके नाम से एक पार्क बनाया गया, थीम पार्क बनाया गया, उन लोग के स्टैचूज लगाए गए कि आज हम उनको याद कर सकें। पाइपर अल्फा एक ऐसा प्लेटफॉर्म था जिससे समुद्र से ऑयल निकालते थे, और वो प्लेटफॉर्म बाकी अदर प्लेटफॉर्म के साथ कनेक्टेड था। एक परमिट इशू हुआ, और मजे की बात यह है कि ये जो इन्वेस्टिगेशन हुआ उसमें भी 3 महीने बाद हमें यह पता चला कि एक परमिट इशू हुआ था एक पंप के मेंटेनेंस के लिए। एक पंप जिसका मेंटेनेंस के लिए जो नेचुरल गैस का कंडेंसेट ट्रांसफर करने के पंप थे 2, ए और बी, उनमें पंप ए के लिए परमिट इशू हुआ, बट एट द सेम टाइम 2 परमिट इशू हुए वहां पे, एक पंप के मेंटेनेंस के लिए और दूसरा प्रेशर सेफ्टी वाल्व के मेंटेनेंस के लिए। पंप के मेंटेनेंस पे कोई काम नहीं हुआ, प्रेशर सेफ्टी वाल्व खोल दिया गया, उसकी जगह एक ब्लाइंड प्लेट लगाई गई। शिफ्ट चेंज ओवर का टाइम था 10 बजे के आसपास। मेंटेनेंस वाली टीम ने परमिट लाके शिफ्ट इंचार्ज को देना चाहा, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली जब शिफ्ट चेंज ओवर हो रही थी तो उसने उस पर ध्यान नहीं दिया और उसने परमिट को एज इट इज टेबल पे छोड़ के चला गया। 9:45 पे पंप बी ट्रिप हो गया, और पंप बी ट्रिप होने के बाद उनके पास 30 मिनट का मार्जिन था पावर बचाने के लिए, क्योंकि वो पंप गैस की सप्लाई करता था, और यदि पावर बैकअप रिज्यूम नहीं हुई तो पूरा डेक, पूरा हमारा प्लेटफॉर्म अंधेरे में समा जाएगा। बी को ट्राई करने की बहुत कोशिश की गई, बी को स्टार्ट करने के लिए, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो स्टार्ट नहीं हुआ, और फिर वापस देखा गया कि ए वाले पंप का परमिट वापस आ चुका है, हम इसको स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं। पंप स्टार्ट किया गया, और वो एक प्रेशर के साथ गैस रिलीज हुई उस ब्लाइंड प्लेट से। सोर्स क्या मिला? इट इज प्रोबेबल कि उसमें कोई टूल वगैरह ऊपर से नीचे गिरा और स्टैटिक चार्ज या स्पार्क मिला, उसकी वजह से ये आग लगी। और वो आग इतनी भयानक थी, आप लोगों को आइडिया होगा जब प्लेटफॉर्म वगैरह इस तरीके की पेट्रोलियम इंडस्ट्रीज होती हैं उसमें कंपार्टमेंटिंग अरेंजमेंट होता है। 4 कंपार्टमेंट थे, उन कंपार्टमेंट में लोहे की प्लेटों से, सीमेंट के बंकर से उनको पार्ट्स में डिवाइड किया जाता है। वहाँ पे 4 कंपार्टमेंट थे, एक लिक्विड के लिए, एक गैस के लिए, एक पावर जनरेशन का, और एक कंपार्टमेंट था जिसमें लोगों के रहने का अरेंजमेंट था। कोई कंपार्टमेंट काम नहीं किया, सब इंटरकनेक्शन आपस में खुले हुए थे। आग लगने के बाद वहां पर रेस्क्यू के लिए एक हवाई जहाज का अरेंजमेंट था कि लोग वहां से निकल सके इन केस ऑफ इमरजेंसी, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो चारों तरफ से आग से घिर गया और हेलीकॉप्टर तक लोग नहीं पहुंच पाए। इमरजेंसी में बचने के लिए उनके पास लाइफ बोट थी, लेकिन लाइफ बोट खराब हो चुकी थी, उनका यूज नहीं हो पाया। कुछ लोगों ने समुद्र के पानी में कूदकर अपनी जान बचाने की कोशिश की, उन्हें समुद्री जानवर खा गए। समुद्री जानवरों से बचाने के लिए वहां पर एक बाड़े का अरेंजमेंट होता है, वायर का अरेंजमेंट होता है, वायर का बाड़ा होता है जिससे कि वो लोग प्लेटफॉर्म को हिट ना करें। अनफॉर्चुनेटली वो सारा का सारा डैमेज हो चुका था। फायर वाटर का अरेंजमेंट बहुत अच्छा, वर्ल्ड क्लास अरेंजमेंट किया हुआ था, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली उसको कभी ट्राई नहीं किया गया कि चलेगा भी नहीं चलेगा, और लास्ट मोमेंट पे वो भी नहीं चला। और सबसे बड़ी दुर्भाग्य की बात क्या है कि जब वो मेरे प्लेटफॉर्म पे आग लगी हुई थी, उस समय बाकी प्लेटफॉर्म जो उसके साथ नेटवर्क में कनेक्ट थे वो उसमें गैस डाल रहे थे। आप सोच के देखिए, जहां पर 160-170 लोग मरे, 200 से ऊपर लोग थे वहां लोग जल रहे हैं भट्टी की तरह, और बाकी प्लेटफॉर्म उसमें आग डाल रहे हैं। आखिर इतना बड़ी घटना, आप सामने फोटो देख पा रहे हैं, आखिर इतनी बड़ी घटना कैसे हो गई? आखिर इतनी बड़ी घटना कैसे हो गई? हम बात करेंगे इस पे दोबारा से। सो वंस अगेन गुड मॉर्निंग। कुछ लोगों ने नहीं बोला गुड आफ्टरनून, गुड इवनिंग, गुड मॉर्निंग। आई सेड गुड मॉर्निंग। यस, थैंक यू। गुड मॉर्निंग जब हम बोलते हैं तो हमें वापस एनर्जी आती है कि यस हमारा दिन शुरू हुआ है। गुड इवनिंग, आधा दिन निकल गया, अब ये भी निकल जाएगा। बाकी स्पीकर्स आए, मैं भी निकल के चला जाऊंगा। सो वंस अगेन गुड मॉर्निंग। सो ये ऑलरेडी सर ने बहुत अच्छे से ब्रीफ किया मेरे बारे में। मैं बेसिकली केमिकल इंजीनियर हूँ, सर्टिफाइड सेफ्टी प्रोफेशनल हूँ, और इंडिया में केवल 5 ऑडिटर हैं रेस्पॉन्सिबल केयर के। रेस्पॉन्सिबल केयर RC 14001 के, उसमें एक मैं हूँ। थैंक यू। यदि हम सामने वाले चार्ट को देखें, इसमें लेफ्ट साइड में हमने कंपाइल किए हैं इंसिडेंट्स और राइट साइड में कंपाइल किए हैं रेगुलेशंस, कि किस इंसिडेंट्स के बाद कहां पर रेगुलेशंस बने और क्या बने। शुरुआत हम फ्लेक्सबोरो से करते हैं 1974 में, सेवासो में 1976 में हुआ। इसके बाद एक जो लेजिस्लेशन बना वो 1982 में था, सेवासो 1 में, यूरोप में बना था। भोपाल गैस कांड हमारा 1984 में हुआ। 84 में एक यूके में रूल आया, सीमा रूल आया, और इसी के साथ साथ AICHE ने CCPS चैप्टर चालू किया। यदि हम बात करें भोपाल गैस कांड की, तो भोपाल गैस कांड के बाद हमारा रेगुलेशंस में बहुत बदलाव आया। फैक्ट्री एक्ट में देखें हम सेक्शन 7A 7B, इवन सेफ्टी का चैप्टर पूरा 4, इसके अलावा रूल नंबर 111, 11A, तो ये सारे जो चेंजेस आए थे वो हमारे भोपाल गैस कांड की वजह से आए थे। इसके अलावा पाइपर अल्फा, जब हम PSM की बात करें तो ओशा ने सबसे पहला स्टैंडर्ड जो पब्लिश किया था वो 1992 में किया था, और ये रेगुलेशन है, इसको 29 CFR 1910 और 119, ये रेगुलेशंस है जो यूके में फॉलो होता है। ये मैंडेटरी है वहां पे फॉलो करना जहां पर 10,000 से ज्यादा पाउंड कैपेसिटी है केमिकल स्टोर करने की। जैसे हमारे यहाँ आप लोगों को पता है थ्रेशोल्ड क्वांटिटी MSIHC रूल में हम लोगों ने डिफाइन की हुई है गवर्नमेंट ने, कि सर्टेन क्वांटिटी से ऊपर होगा तो कुछ सर्टेन रेगुलेशंस हैं उनको फॉलो करना होगा। ऐसे ही फ्लेमेबल टॉक्सिक केमिकल्स में यदि क्वांटिटी 10,000 पाउंड से ज्यादा होगी तो वहां पर ये रूल फॉलो करना मैंडेटरी है। प्रोसेस सेफ्टी और ऑक्यूपेशनल सेफ्टी, बेसिकली आप सारे लोग जानते हैं ऑक्यूपेशनल सेफ्टी में फ्रीक्वेंसी ज्यादा होती है और पोटेंशियल कम होता है, बट सबसे ज्यादा पोटेंशियल कहाँ है? प्रोसेस में। प्रोसेस सेफ्टी इंसिडेंट जितने होते हैं वो लेस फ्रीक्वेंट होते हैं और कैटास्ट्रॉफिक होते हैं। इसको हम दूसरे शब्दों में कहें कि डिजास्टर्स करने की क्षमता केवल केमिकल इंडस्ट्रीज में होती है। ऐसा है या नहीं है? ऐसा है ना? किसी भी मैकेनिकल इलेक्ट्रिकल इंस्ट्रूमेंटेशन की कंपनी में इतने बड़े इंसिडेंट नहीं होते हैं। तो जब हम डिजास्टर करने की क्षमता रखते हैं तो हमें कहीं ना कहीं प्रोसेस को इतना कंट्रोल करके चलना चाहिए कि हमारे यहाँ कोई भी इंसिडेंट ना हो। बहुत सारे लोगों ने भी बात की रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी की, सर बात करेंगे अभी, तो हमें रेस्पॉन्सिबली अपना काम करना चाहिए। तो सेफ्टी के लिए यदि मैं वापस रिकनेक्ट करूं पाइपर अल्फा को, तो हम लोग कहाँ फेल हुए इसमें? पाइपर अल्फा में प्रोसेस सेफ्टी के एलिमेंट्स कहाँ फेल हुए या हम लोग कहाँ फेल हुए? एक बार देखते हैं। प्रोसेस सेफ्टी कल्चर फेल हुआ, वर्कफोर्स इन्वॉल्वमेंट फेल हुआ। इसमें कहीं पर भी आपको कोई ऑब्जेक्शन होगा आप बोल दीजिएगा मुझे। प्रोसेस सेफ्टी कल्चर फेल हुआ, वर्कफोर्स इन्वॉल्वमेंट फेल हुआ, हैजार्ड आइडेंटिफिकेशन रिस्क असेसमेंट फेल हुआ। आप यदि गूगल करेंगे इन्वेस्टिगेशन रिपोर्ट आपको स्क्रीन मिलेगी, तो उसमें इन्वेस्टिगेशन रिपोर्ट के फर्स्ट पेज पे बहुत सारी रिपोर्ट पब्लिश हुई थी, उसमें फर्स्ट पेज पे लिखा हुआ है कि दे वर नॉट नोइंग व्हाट इज सेफ और व्हाट इज अनसेफ, दे वर नॉट नोइंग द डिफरेंस बिटवीन सेफ एंड सेफ। सो हीरा ऑपरेटिंग प्रोसीजर्स का फेल हुआ, वर्क प्रैक्टिसेस फेल हुई, असेट इंटीग्रिटी फेल हुई, ट्रेनिंग एंड परफॉर्मेंस एश्योरेंस फेल हुआ, देन ऑपरेशनल रेडीनेस फेल हुआ, इमरजेंसी मैनेजमेंट सबसे बड़ा फेलियर था, कम्युनिकेशन फेल हुआ था। हमारा जो हम लोग बात करते हैं म्यूचुअल एड स्कीम की बात करते हैं, बट म्यूचुअल एड फेल हो गया वहां पे कि नियर बाय जो हमारे ऑयल रिगिंग प्लेटफॉर्म थे जो उस पाइपलाइन में गैस और पेट्रोल डाल रहे थे, उनके साथ हम कम्युनिकेशन ही नहीं कर पाए। उनके साथ म्यूचुअल एड स्कीम नहीं थी, वो लोग वापस गैस डालते रहे उसमें, जबकि दूसरा प्लेटफॉर्म भट्टी की तरह जल रहा है। ऑडिटिंग फेल हुई इसमें मैनेजमेंट रिव्यू एंड कंटिन्यूअल इंप्रूवमेंट फेल हुआ। अब हम स्ट्रेटजी की बात करें क्विकली, तो हमारी स्ट्रेटजी को हम 4 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड कर सकते हैं। पहली है स्टैंडर्ड बेस्ड स्ट्रेटजी, व्हाट शुड आई डू, मुझे क्या करना चाहिए। देन दूसरी स्ट्रेटजी है हमारी कंप्लायंस बेस्ड स्ट्रेटजी, व्हाट डू आई हैव टू डू। यहाँ पर हमारा फैक्ट्री एक्ट, MSI रूल, गैस सिलेंडर रूल, बाकी सारे रूल काम करते हैं। ये है कंप्लायंस बेस्ड स्ट्रेटजी। कंटिन्यूअस इंप्रूवमेंट बेस्ड स्ट्रेटजी, हाउ कैन आई इंप्रूव बेस्ड ऑन माय एक्सपीरियंस। एंड रिस्क बेस्ड स्ट्रेटजी, CCPS, प्रोसेस सेफ्टी, PSM, ये हमारा रिस्क बेस्ड स्ट्रेटजी में आता है। हाउ कैन बेटर मैनेज रिस्क। ऑक्यूपेशनल सेफ्टी, यदि मैं इन्वेस्टमेंट की बात करूं बहुत छोटे शब्दों में, तो इसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट शायद उतनी नहीं आती। यदि मैं बात करूं प्रोसेस सेफ्टी में, इसमें इन्वेस्टमेंट की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है। क्यों होती है? क्योंकि इसका अप्रोच क्या है? ये गाइडेड अप्रोच है, और ये क्या अप्रोच है? सिस्टमेटिक अप्रोच है। इसमें आपके सर्टेन एलिमेंट होंगे, 14 होंगे, 16 होंगे, 20 होंगे, 21 होंगे। अलग अलग मेथोडोलॉजी आप फॉलो कर सकते हैं। CCPS करें, OSHA करें। इफ यू थिंक हमारा इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रोसेस सेफ्टी में बहुत ज्यादा है, ट्राई एक्सीडेंट मैंने नहीं कहा है, ट्रॉवेक लेड्स ने कहा है। सो यदि वापस समराइज करूं मैं डिस्कशन को अपने, तो प्रोसेस सेफ्टी के सारे एलिमेंट्स को मैं 20 एलिमेंट्स को केवल 4 पिलर में डिवाइड कर सकता हूं, जिसमें कमिट टू प्रोसेस सेफ्टी में 5 एलिमेंट कवर होते हैं, मैनेज रिस्क में 9 एलिमेंट, हैजार्ड इवोल्यूशन में 2 एलिमेंट, और लर्न फ्रॉम एक्सीडेंट में 4 एलिमेंट। और अल्टीमेटली ये सारे एलिमेंट में यदि आप 2 एलिमेंट देखें, पहले वाले कमिट टू प्रोसेस सेफ्टी कहां से आता है? मैनेजमेंट लीडरशिप और कमिटमेंट से है कि नहीं है? दूसरा मेन इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है एम्प्लॉय पार्टिसिपेशन। ये जो आप मैनेज रिस्क वाले 9 एलिमेंट देख रहे हैं या बाकी सारे एलिमेंट देख रहे हैं, ये सारे एम्प्लॉय पार्टिसिपेशन में कवर कर सकते हैं। और ये 2 चीजें ही ऐसी हैं जहां पर हमें HR का हैंड होल्ड चाहिए। यदि आप सोच के देखिए, यदि मैं फैक्ट्री एक्ट की बात करूं, तो हम लोगों का रोल अर्धनारीश्वर वाला है। यदि HR आधा पार्ट है तो सेफ्टी आधा पार्ट है, चाहे वो फैक्ट्री एक्ट देख लीजिए चाहे नॉर्मल है। सो अब बिग बैंग क्वेश्चन, अब मैं एक क्वेश्चन आपके सामने छोड़ रहा हूं, सेफ्टी कहां से ड्राइव होती है? आप लोग का क्या अप्रोच है, क्या जवाब होगा? कहां से होती है? टॉप टू बॉटम और बॉटम टू टॉप? कहां से होती है? सारे लोग सहमत हैं? टॉप टू बॉटम, पक्का? यस। सो दिस इज माई अप्रोच कि सेफ्टी हमेशा टॉप टू बॉटम ड्राइव होती है, बट फीडबैक इज इक्वली इंपॉर्टेंट। नीचे से रियल फीडबैक जाना चाहिए टॉप मैनेजमेंट तक। थैंक यू सो मच, थैंक यू सो मच।
Thank you, Dr. Madhur, for a very interesting and energizing presentation. Now I request Mr. Pinal Patel to speak on build up safety culture, learning from incidents, how incidents can be used to build up a culture in the company.
Thank you very much. Hello. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to thank SHRM to give me this opportunity to share my experience, or I would say to share my thoughts over here in front of the dignitaries of HR and EHS. So thank you very much. I will be touching to a little bit on the subject of building up safety culture. You might have heard everywhere, HR and EHS, we both are listening everywhere in the organization. Hey guys, we need to build a safety culture, you need to do something, you build a safety culture, build a safety culture. Sometimes we are being given assignment, okay, you start, this BBS training program is working very nicely and I think you should do it, right? So we are getting certain kind of instruction and most of the time we are saying, okay, we need to learn from the incident to build a safety culture. My perspective of 27 years of experience in various industries is little bit different, that we cannot build culture from the learning from incident. We have seen several examples in previous sessions. We were talking about 1984, 2003, 2006. We have several incidents. We keep on talking about this, but are we able to stop all those incidents? No, we are not able to stop it because we have not built a safety culture. And safety culture cannot be built by learning from the incident only. And second point, learning from the incident is always very expensive subject. If you talk what Dr. Madhur has told, if we are part of our chemical organization, can we afford explosion? Our business will be closed for several months, right? That's why it's very expensive to learn from the incident. So I will be giving you one tip, what I have experienced through my 27 years of experience, which tool can work in the organization, and if we deploy, really it can make a difference. So this slide is very common and we used to see since many years. And this is what we have seen. If you see by the years, 1931, 69, 2003, there are several models, right? There are several models. Sometimes we talk about the Bird model, sometimes we talk about Heinrich model, and still we keep on discussing that how we can build a safety culture. So as a, I would say, building up safety culture, can we learn from the incidents only? No. Answer is no. What is normal approach of all industry? Let's look back. Learning from incident might prevent reoccurrence, but not the new incident. And this is proven fact. Okay, if you are learning something from those accidents, it might be preventing reoccurrences of those kind of events, but still we are not able to complete or close all the events which are occurring nowadays. And that's the key topic where I would like to give you some insight. Yeah, there is one case. I want to refer this joke, it's a joke honestly speaking, it's really a joke. That one policeman has seen one guy who was, I would say, crawling, who was drunk and crawling near the lamppost, and he said, okay, what are you doing, guy? He said, I've lost my keys. Then police is asking, okay, do you really feeling that your key is lost somewhere here? He said, not really, I'm not sure, but here there is a light, so I'm searching here. And this is what we are doing. We are really searching a key somewhere else where I would say key is already available with us as a EHS professional. And this is what the point where I would like to touch today. We'll not go through the numbers. Numbers are very big. Mr. Saraswat has already given a number. Every day 1,000 incidents. If we talk about traffic, several incidents. So, if we go by the numbers, there are several accidents. We can keep on talking about those numbers. But at this moment, we are not able to prevent accidents. That is for sure. That is the reality. If you go by the India numbers, there are certain numbers of Gujarat, which is showing highest number. Right? It may happen that Gujarat is the state which is the best reporting mechanism which is available. This is also one way of looking at it. right? So numbers are fragmentic, scattered, and really I would say based on those numbers, we cannot define strategy. This is my personal feeling. Sometimes if you talk an example of unorganized sectors like civil construction companies, there could be several thousands of accidents, nobody is reporting. When in the state of Gujarat, if you can say that, okay, construction workers, we really do not know whether those numbers are being reported or not, then you can imagine the other states. I've been leading all the projects and manufacturing locations across the India, so I was fortunate to work in various states, and believe me, Gujarat is at quite good level. But still, if you see, numbers are showing different. And when we talk, and we all are working in the industry. So if we go to our management, MD, CEO, after 6 months or 1 year, what he will ask? What is the number? Right? Finally, it will be that. So, now coming to the tip, this is my personal belief. If we really want to prevent our accidents, we need to work on deviations. And deviation is not a new subject for EHS people, right? But basically the deviation is, I would say, moving away from the standard practice, SOP, whatever you say. Or moving from the standard, means not complying with the standard is a deviation. So if we work on deviation, believe me, we can prevent all the accidents. And yes, for sure, learning from incident is also part of it. But if you go into the analysis, investigation, what example doctor has said right now, after all, you will find deviation at the end of the root cause. And this is the reason, my personal belief, if we work on deviation, believe me, we will be able to prevent all the accidents. So, this is a general guidance which we use to deploy in our process or in our company. We have several programs, so you can define the program according to your organization's need. Either you call it safety observation visit, general plan inspection, you can say safety round, whatever name you want to give, but we need to capture deviations from our area, wherever we are working, and we need to define a management program. Then second is empowering people. Empowering people is very important. And if we do not empower people to stop the job, if it is unsafe, then whatever we are discussing on the presentation and the hall like this, I think it will not work. That's why organization, EHS and HR, both have to work together. We need to make a program. We need to empower those people to stop the work. Whenever they find difficulty, they say, okay, this is unsafe. This is not meeting with my standard. This is not meeting with our policy. And if we empower them, then immediately it means problem will come to the manager. Finally, you will correct it, right? And then you will continue the work. We are not stopping industry. We don't want to stop work. If we are stopping business, there is no requirement of EHS, nothing, right? That is not the end goal. We want to stop accident, and that's why we need to empower people. Analyze, after capturing all the deviations, we need to analyze, then we need to make a management program, and you know the PDCA cycle. So capture deviations, make a management program, empower people. People should stop, think and act before they start their work, and we need to build those culture. And finally, we need to reward and recognize. In one of the HR Dignity has told, we are known, we means HR. He has said that we are known for punishing people, but yes, now it's a time to recognize people who are doing good job. So reward and recognition is also important part. And one more point I have missed, I guess, we need to give a feedback to the employee what management has taken action against the deviation he has captured. Believe me, friends, if we go by this cycle, finally, we will be able to control all the risk associated with our activity, and finally, we will be able to prevent the program. When we empower our people, when they identify problem, they themselves are stopping, they themselves are correcting the situation, believe me, there will not be accident. So this is one of the slide which is saying stop, think and act, and it is exactly the same, that empowering people. People will think that, okay, what I am going to do today, do I have a proper resources to do my job? Do I have SOPs, standards, or process, whatever is required? Do I have proper tools and equipments? Do I have a competency to do this job? If answer is no, I need to stop. I need to connect with my manager. I need to seek help. And once we do that, believe me, there will not be accident. And we have got very good results. And believe me, by this practice, in 2015, in my company, Alstom India has got #1 award within Alstom globally, where we are operating in 60 countries. Normally global people are thinking that, okay, India is a low matured country. You cannot do anything in India, right? But it was, I would say, it's a French company who has recognized that, okay, India can do different things. So friends, try to utilize this tool in your organization. I'm sure you will get good results. So, if we summarize my communication, then basically, yes, learning from incident is important. We need to learn wherever accidents occur. First of all, we should not focus the learning from our accident, for sure. We need to learn from others' accidents. We need to analyze them. We need to deploy wherever it is applicable, and we need to upgrade our system. But that is not the only way to build a culture. Building safety culture. Just now, doctor has asked one question, whether it is a bottom up or top down. Both approaches are important. But at the same time, if there is only a top down approach, if people are not getting engaged, if people are not involved, just by pushing through management, we will not be able to achieve targets. And that's why bottom-up approach is extremely important. We need to engage those people, either in the name of safety committee, then you make a cross-functional team, etc. But we need to engage those people. So this is one part. Involvement and engagement, stop, think and act, and finally, recognize and reward safe behavior and contributors. So after saying this, I think I will close my speech. But important last punchline for me is reaction to prevention. Means we need to stop reactive approach, means already accident is there and then we learn from it. No. We want to prevent, we focus on preventive part, where we focus on leading indicators rather than the lagging indicators. Okay, with these words, I will close my speech. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Pinal, for very interesting talk on giving specific points and specific methodology how we can control accidents in the company. Thank you very much. And now I invite Mr. Chinmay to talk on responsible care. You might be knowing responsible care is again a system to improve safety, health and environment, all practices all together. So Mr. Chinmay.
Yeah, good evening. It's working? Yeah. So, Mr. Kharakwal has mentioned that responsible care. So, how many people are knowing about the responsible care? And in which company implemented? Once is knowing, and how many companies have implemented so far, those people are here. Okay, so that is good, and I think not more than 25%. So little bit I have to go through about the responsible care, but before that I would like to mention about my company. It's a Gulbranson Private Limited. I am from Gulbranson Private Limited. It's a multinational company, and in India it is from 2000, so almost 23 years. So why I'm giving this introduction? Because it's a multinational company, and just like many other companies, they are also believing in all the environmental health and safety aspects. So we have implemented responsible care in our company. We have two verticals, so in both the verticals we have implemented this responsible care. So in the last talk, both the gentlemen has mentioned about the top to bottom culture or bottom to top culture. So both are here in responsible care. So how it is and how it has been emerged responsible care. the outline I'm not mentioning, but already Dr. Madhur has mentioned one of this incident about the Piper Alpha, but there are many other incidents happen in major companies like Dixboro UK, maybe many people are knowing, Bhopal India, Piper Alpha, BP Texas, and Bonesfield. What is the similarity of all these companies? Anybody can say? Chemical company, other things? Yeah. All these companies are big giant companies, most of the things. And what happened? So one incident and then some of the companies are out of the business. Right? So all are big companies, all are chemical companies, but one incident happened and then some of the companies like Bhopal, United Carbon company happened, and then even BP Texas, they are out of the businesses there. So that's why chemical companies worldwide, they thought that we are doing a very good business, we are big giant, but if one thing is happened, one incident happened, so then there is no place to do the business. And there is no recognition, then there is no reputations. And that's why responsible care is emerged out, worldwide is emerged out. And who has done this one? It's the International Chemical Council, International Council of Chemical Association. It has been initiated through this responsible care. It is a worldwide. And in all the countries where it has been implemented, that chemical council, or that chemical council has initiated this responsible care. So in India, Indian Chemical Council has implemented this responsible care. We are later on, actually responsible care happened mainly after the Bhopal incident, but we are a little bit late. After 2000, it has been coming up fast, but nowadays, many companies have implemented this in this responsible care program. It is a global agency. He has implemented this program, and it is a nodal agencies for implementation, assessment, and awarding the logo is there. So right now, almost 163 companies are signatory for the responsible care. And how many companies are logo holder? There are about 83 companies. So this is all about the responsible care. But how it is helpful to us, that I would like to mention over here. So there are the 4 pillars of the responsible care: environmental, health, safety, and security. Just last 2 years, has been incorporated security also. So we are talking about the top to bottom, and bottom to up culture is there. So without the top management commitment, it is not possible for the responsible care. And why it is not to top? And if you can say those who have implemented responsible care over here. I am giving my example of my companies. We have thought of this responsible care implementation 6 years before. And initially we have denied, because actually authorities ask us, you are doing very great job of the environmental health and safety. You should implement responsible care, and we have denied. So we do not like to go with responsible care because it is a requirement commitment, top management commitment is there, and that time we felt that one that is really difficult for us because we have so many other challenges. So we have decided we are not going to do the responsible care. At the same time, we have given the assurance to the authority. Definitely, we are coming up with responsible care after 1 year. We will implement it, and we have taken that commitment. Next year, we come up with responsible care. We have decided to go with responsible care. But it is not only the top management commitment, it is not only the EHS commitment, it is not only the HR commitment. Because here it says environmental health, safety, and security is there. So how many people we have involved in this work? So we have made the cross-functional team, and we have involved 60 people. So it is not just a job of few people of environmental health and safety, or only few people of HR are there. We have made a cross-functional team. We have started implementation of this, all the departments. As in one of the lecture, somebody has mentioned, there are not only HR or EHS, many other functions are also important. So there is involvement of the production people, involvement of the logistic people. So all the people are involved across the organizations, and then we have implemented and worked within 1 year. We have come up with the logo. So that commitment we have shown. Once upon a time we have said to the authority, we are not going for the responsible care, and next year we have come up with the logo. So that commitment is required over here. So So this is the commitment, it's a voluntary standard, it's beyond the legislative requirement. So that commitment is required. We have to go over the beyond legislative requirement. And there are 7 codes. And that's why all the people are requirement, like all this process safety, employee health and safety, pollution prevention, emergency response, distribution code, product stewardship code, and security code. So all these things are important. So it is not a, some of the people's involvement is required. So all the, across the site, all the functions are required. And there are various attributes are there. I'm going fast, but in process safety, it is the entire process safety management is involved, and that's why many people are requirements. Like this employees' health and safety, occupational health and safety, many other things are required. So it's again, it's a huge task. For pollution prevention, entire environmental aspects covered under these pollution prevention aspects, emergency response covered under not only the within the premises, what care you are taking so that other communities will not affect, that is also covered under this one. Distribution, transport and safety and all other aspects like warehouse safety and other things are covered with the distribution code. And product safety and stewardship, it's a life cycle approach is there from concept to the you are reaching to the customer's end and after to the disposal end. That is covered in the product safety and stewardship and the security aspect. So entire things are covered, and it is not just implementation at field level, but it is to be monitoring, measurement, and the performance. So every year we have to do the KPI and we have to monitor this. All the aspects are there. Then and then we can sustain the disposal care. So I'm not advocating this is only one tool. There are many other tools are there. But right now it's the buzzwords about the sustainability, sustainable development. There are so many other frameworks like BRSR, like GRI, like many other things are there. But if we are doing this one, then certainly because it is really helpful for the sustainable development, how it is there, helpful. Because these are other advantages of responsible care, but time limits are there, so I'm going fast. The different approach of the responsible care, like you have to be proactive within the organization, within the community also, and even in the policy making also, follow-up point of view also. This is also where other advantages, definitely, once we are doing the EHS and HR aspects, then there are so many other advantages are there. But I'm just linking with the sustainable development because right now everybody is talking about the sustainable development. So many, that all the 7 codes, definitely we are covering about the social, governance and environmental aspects like pollution prevention is there. Governance is also there, top management commitment is there, and social aspects. All the CSR, PER, everything is covered in the social accountability, everything is covered in the this work. So it is helpful for the sustainable development point of view. And if you have to lead this responsible care and sustainability, so this is the way how we can go ahead. We are talking about the legal compliances, that is a must requirement is there. If we have to think beyond that one, so then all this journey is very much helpful. It's a one tool is there. It's not except the entire toolbox. It's a one tool how we can go ahead with this one. Apart from all the ISO certifications, then disposal care implementations. And with this, we are leading with the disposal care because every 3 years we have to go with the audit. It is not just one time. Every 3 years we have to go the audit. Every year we have to show the KPI. Then we can sustain it. And sorry. This was last. That was the last. That was last. So then we have to extend this to the sustainability goals, like 3 pillars of the sustainability: environmental, social, and governance, by publishing the report. So that way it is helpful to us. So what I mean to say ultimately in last, responsible care is one of the stepping stone if you have to lead to the sustainable development is there. So that's all about from my perspective. And definitely, responsible care is such a thing. So we have to think globally and we have to act locally to experience about the good chemistry. Thank you all of you.
Thank you, Chinmay, for giving very interesting details on how a responsible care can, a single management system can handle all the aspects of safety, health, environment, and sustainability all together in the single one. And this is especially very useful for a chemical industry, this system, because we have also experienced past in many companies. So I am also playing a role of a presenter. So my presentation is on ESG. ESG is very talked about topic. I'm seeing a lot of interest is there, but I'll be speaking only on basics of ESG, what the various terminologies represent. Can you start the presentation, please? So ESG basically is environmental, social, and governance. These are the three terminologies which constitute ESG. Before that, I'll talk about my company, Alembic Pharmaceuticals Limited. We are around 116 years old organization in pharmaceuticals. We have 9 manufacturing units, 3 APIs, 4 formulations, 1 derma. We have research centers in 3 research centers in Hyderabad and 4 in Vadodara, around Vadodara, and we are all US FDA approved facilities. I'll not take much time, but these are our sister concerns. You must have heard YERA, Alembic Reality, you might have heard. Al Amin Hospital, that's also our sister concern. So what is constituted in ESG is that environment, normally the section in ESG covers about greenhouse gas emissions, waste generations, water consumptions, effluent management, recycling, all about environment. Something which governs mostly on a climatic level. Second is social, which covers health and safety of the employees, working conditions, employee benefits, diversity, inclusion, human rights, impact on local community, which is taken care of by CSR. And third is governance, which talks about the ethical standards, board diversity, governance, stakeholder engagements, and shareholder rights. So this ESG terminology has recently been emerged. Otherwise, there have been many terminologies before about sustainability. I'll talk about them also. This is how it started actually. In 1987, the sustainability term for the first time was coined when this great definition of that you take care of your present without compromising the needs of the future generations. That is how it started in 87. And then in 1992, the Earth Summit was there where UNFCCC was formed and a Kyoto Protocol was enacted. Then UN Global Compact started in 1999. So a global UN promoted an organization which defined a kind of some standards that this is how the sustainability should be presented. But till now the sustainability was on triple bottom line, which is financial, social and environmental. Governance was not there till that time. So later the governance was added and financial was removed because financial was anyway was essential part of sustainability. If you are not financially viable, you are not going to sustain in any case. So this is how then governance was added, and it was considered that if you take care of environment, your social and your governance issues, then definitely along with finance, you are going to sustain for a long time. Then GRI standards were published in 2002 that how a sustainability can be reported in a very detailed manner. There was very detailed standards framed, how it is to be reported, what are the parameters, what are the various ratios which are to be reported. A detailed report people started presenting voluntarily. In India also many companies, around 10-20 companies had started voluntarily reporting it, but that was till this time, these standards or these way of reporting were purely voluntary. But then SEBI introduced BRR in 2012. BRR is Business Reporting Responsibility. So in a very small way, they started in 2012 and only top 100 companies by market capitalizations were mandatorily to be report on 6 parameters about their sustainability performance. But these were very subjective questions and people were generally writing yes or no on those questions. So this was very primitive kind of reporting, but that was the way the government have started implementing it or making it mandatory in a systematic manner. Meanwhile, in COP21, Paris Agreement was there in 2015, where all leaders decided that we should not allow the temperature of Earth to rise more than 2 degrees centigrade, and for that what activities are to be done. And then later that was decided that 2 degrees centigrade itself is a very high jump for temperature to rise. Let's not allow it more than 1.5 degrees centigrade. So to make that 1.5 degrees centigrade a limit to rise the temperature, we will have to curb our greenhouse gas emission right now and continuously reduce it and make by 2070 or 2060 completely zero all the emission. Then only still our temperature will rise 1.5 degrees centigrade. So what actions are needed for that climate control, those were gradually enforced. And then in accordance, SEBI also changed their reporting from BRR to, they make it mandatory to top 500 companies first, and then they introduced BRSR. Now business reporting responsibility has introduced one S in between, that is business reporting and sustainability reporting. Sorry, business responsibility and sustainability reporting. So that sustainability term was introduced, and that checklist has been made more elaborate. Many questions have been added where mandatorily all top 1,000 companies have to report on their sustainability performance. And that is basically ESG, on environment, social and governance. These are the things to be reported. And then later, then SBTi, like for example, people claim that I'll be reducing my greenhouse gas emission, let's say by 0 or 50%. But there some standards have been defined how you can claim those reductions. For that, SBTi has been introduced, which is science-based targets. So those targets should not be very general in nature. There has to be a science, and how much reduction is required to reach that 1.5 degrees centigrade temperature rise. That has to be arrived based on certain calculation methodology. So that SBTi then was introduced to formulate those targets for individual industries. So this is how the journey of ESG started. And then various reporting have developed over the period. One was SBTi I talked. Another was United Nations Global Compact, UNGC, which was, I just told that it was promoted by United Nations itself. Third was Dow Jones Sustainability Index. This is very elaborate calculation methods. There are various parameters where the rating is given. Actually, it's not just reporting only, but certain numbers are given. Report is published that this rating of this company on DJSI is this much. So based on that rating, many investors are taking decisions. So this has become very important. Then GRI, I said that Global Reporting Initiative, that was a standard published by an autonomous body where many elaborate methods of reporting were described. CDP's carbon disclosure program. CDP's only talks about greenhouse gas emission. So only related to your GHG emission controls, that reporting is there. And EcoVadis. EcoVadis is actually a very recent addition where again rating is given as like in DJSI. So EcoVadis rating is now being given a lot of importance by customers. Like if you are exporting to Europe and other countries outside, they check your EcoVadis score and accordingly they give you preference in their imports. So that's a very elaborate questions where you have to answer, you have to give the evidences, and you have to get the audit done also, and then the score is given. Normally it's out of 100, so any score more than 50 is considered to be good. So these are the reporting standards. And there is one more terminology which is called Sustainability Development Goals, SDG. SDG, these are some 17 goals which are related to poverty alleviation, environmental preservation, and or your employment, or gender equality. For all these areas, United Nations again identifies some 17 areas where industries and countries should work for social upliftment and environmental improvement across the world. So they identified 17 areas and they asked all the governments to ratify them, and all the industries should adopt few of them to work on. Like for example, CSR practices must be aligned to SDG goals. So finally, over 2030 is taken the target that by 2030, we will remove poverty from the world. So one of the SDG goal is poverty elevation. So there are other SDG goals that employment to all. You can't read them. I'm sorry for that. But these are related to these areas which have been listed: free of poverty and hunger, full employment, quality education, education related. So all these goals have been defined by UNGC. And for other reporting, you are not mandatorily required to adopt any of these. But if you are reporting under UNGC, Global Compact, then you must at least take 4 of the SDG goals and say what is your performance over that. So basically, this is CSR activities must be aligned to one of or more of these SDG goals. So how the ESG is to be implemented in the company? You must have policies, and these policies are not supposed to be only on the environment. Policies must be on environment, training, social, labor, welfare, human rights. There must be policies on that. People must be trained on these policies, and there has to be a materiality assessment. Now, this is very unique term, materiality assessment associated with ESG. Like, you have to identify which are the important sustainability areas for your own organization. And this assessment has to be done across stakeholders. Your employees must suggest that, your investors, your customers, government agencies, NGOs, the feedback is taken from all of them. And then finally decided which are the material topics for your organization. And then on those material topics, you must report what is your progress on improvement. So that's the materiality assessment. So materiality topics can be different for different type of organization depending on what products they are working on. And then there has to be data collection, collation, reporting, and then finally third party assurance, that you report that I have been doing so many things, but some third party must assure that yes, it has been done. Finally, the last slide, what Alembic is doing. Alembic is has taken many targets, many improvement areas, but 2 important targets which we have taken is net zero by 2040, and in which we are working. And this is the detailed roadmap how we will be achieving that. And second is water neutrality. That means whatever water we are drawing for our operations, we must give back clean water to Mother Earth back, like by recharging or by other methods, and reduce our water consumption over the period of time. So currently we have been able to 48% give back to the nature, and our target by 2027 is to become water positive by 2027. So this is all from my presentation. Thank you very much for intently listening it. Now, I invite questions on any of the areas. Please. Anybody? Yeah, there is one question. Can somebody, mic please?
Yeah, hello sir, this is Kritarth. We have this terminology ESG which has been recently incorporated, I believe, in the last 10 years. A lot of companies are going ahead and following the CSR model, while ESG is more a wholesome product, right? What is the challenge that the industries are facing to transition from CSR to ESG?
Okay, CSR and ESG are not comparable terminologies. CSR is a very small part of total ESG. So in ESG, there is environment, second is social, and third is governance. So social is consisting of people. So CSR is a part of that people process. So in the people, we take employees also, the community also, and the community welfare comes under CSR. So it's a small part of a total bigger framework of ESG. So people are doing CSR for a very long time, but ESG, when they started ESG, they incorporated CSR part also into the ESG practices. Yes, yes please.
सर हम सेफ्टी को डिज़ाइन स्टेज पे ही कैसे इम्प्रूवमेंट कर सकते हैं? कौन कौन से टूल्स हैं जिससे हम डिज़ाइन स्टेज पे ही सेफ्टी को इम्प्रूवमेंट कर सकें?
मैं डॉक्टर मधुर को बोलूँगा कि इसका आंसर करें।
सेफ्टी को हम लोग कॉन्सेप्चुलाइजेशन स्टेज से हम लोग उसको कंसीडर कर सकते हैं। जब आप R&D में हो, जब आप प्रोसेस डेवलप कर रहे हो, तो उतना प्रोसेस सेफ और रोबस्ट होना चाहिए कि आगे जाके प्रोसेस आपका फेल ना हो। R&D लेवल पे अभी मैं HAZOP की बात करूँ तो HAZOP को आप कम से कम 4 लेयर्स में 4 स्टेज पे करना चाहिए। पहले R&D स्टेज पे, जब हमारा बिल्कुल कॉन्सेप्चुलाइजेशन हम कर रहे हैं, जब हमारे पास डेटा बहुत ज़्यादा अवेलेबल नहीं है, उस समय हम लोग नेगेटिव एक्सपेरिमेंट के थ्रू कई बार डेटा जनरेट करते हैं। देन उसके बाद किलो लैब पे जब हम एक्सपेरिमेंट कर लिया, अब हमारे पास अब हम उसको वेरीफाई करना है, तो वेरिफिकेशन कहाँ होगा? किलो लेवल पे। तो जब हम वेरिफिकेशन कर रहे हैं तो वहाँ पर हम लोगों को जो है जॉब कर रहे हैं उसमें वहाँ पर इन्वेस्ट करना चाहिए। उसके बाद जब हम प्रोसेस प्लांट में जा रहे हैं तब करना चाहिए, जब हम प्लांट लगा चुके हैं उसके बाद भी करना चाहिए। तो जो भी हमारा हैजॉब, तो एक हैजॉब मेथड हो गया, बट हैजॉब से एक आगे वर्जन और भी है जिसको हम बोलते हैं लेयर्स ऑफ प्रोटेक्शन एनालिसिस। कि कितना आपका रेजिडुअल रिस्क बचा है उसको भी कंसीडर करना चाहिए। ठीक है?
हेलो, मेरा क्वेश्चन रिलेटेड टू इंसिडेंट इन्वेस्टिगेशन है। हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारे, जैसे आपने भी पाइपर अल्फा का बहुत से अच्छे से समझाया, हम यहाँ पे जहाँ पे भी जाते हैं तो हम फॉरेन के इंसिडेंट ही इन्वेस्टिगेशन हम दिखाते हैं, मगर बहुत सारी कंपनीज़ है, प्राइवेट कंपनीज़ है जिसमें बहुत अच्छे अच्छे इंसिडेंट होते हैं जिसके लर्निंग कभी बाहर नहीं आते हैं। हाँ, अच्छे इन द सेंस हैजार्डस, जिसमें बहुत सारे लर्निंग्स है, मगर हम अपनी गलतियों को कभी भी दिखाते नहीं है या कभी हम शेयर नहीं कर पाते हैं। तो वाई मीन्स ऐसा कहीं कोई, जैसे बहुत सारी गवर्नमेंट कंपनीज है उसके रिपोर्ट्स बाहर आते हैं क्योंकि वो करना पड़ता है उनको, तो पब्लिक डोमेन में आते हैं, मगर बहुत सारे इंसिडेंट्स जो होते हैं कंपनीज में और वो पब्लिक डोमेन में अगर आते हैं तो हमको ये बाहर के जो CSB से हम लेते हैं, एनिमेटेड वीडियो लेते हैं, ये सब लेके हम सीखते हैं। तो हमारे में ही इतने सारे इंसिडेंट होते हैं कि इसमें से बहुत सारी चीज़ें हम सीख सकते हैं। तो उसमें क्या हिंट्रेंस है, क्या लीगली कुछ ऐसा है, क्या फॉरवर्ड पाथ ऐसा कुछ है कि जिससे हम आगे फ्यूचर में, क्योंकि अभी बहुत सारे ऐसे कोई रिपोजिटरी है नहीं कि जिसमें आदमी जाके देख सके और सीख सके, तो इसके लिए क्या आपका क्या राय है, क्या हो सकता है आगे?
डेफिनेटली आपका पॉइंट बिल्कुल वैलिड है और ऐसा होना चाहिए, बट अनफॉर्चुनेटली अभी इंडिया में ऐसा नहीं है। US वगैरह में आपका CSB वीडियोस आप लोग देखते होंगे तो वहाँ बहुत अच्छे से एनालिसिस करते हैं, बट हमारे यहाँ कोई भी ऐसी रेगुलेटरी बॉडी भी नहीं है। हमारे यहाँ डायरेक्टर ऑफ फैक्ट्रीज हैं, जो हमारा फैक्ट्री इंस्पेक्टर्स वगैरह होते हैं वो आते हैं, इन्वेस्टिगेट करते हैं, बट वो वहीं उनके पेपर में या हमारे पेपर में दब के रह जाता है। ओपनली जो हम फोरम पे बात कर रहे हैं कि वो शेयर होना चाहिए, तो नॉलेज शेयरिंग सेशंस वगैरह करते हैं, अदरवाइज और कोई रेगुलेटरी बॉन्डिंग नहीं है। होना चाहिए। आई अप्रिशिएट योर क्वेश्चंस, होना चाहिए। थैंक यू।
आप कुछ इंसिडेंट जो है OASD जो है उसमें आपको मिल जाता है, उनका इन्वेस्टिगेशंस, दे आर डूइंग वेरी गुड दैट वर्क, बट बाकी जगह पे नहीं होता है ये।
इसमें एक वेबसाइट CCPS की भी है, आप उस पर देखेंगे तो बहुत सारे इंसिडेंट मिल जाएंगे, बट मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि 100% हम लोग डिस्क्लोज करते हैं, कोई भी नहीं करता, बट होना चाहिए। आई रियली अप्रिशिएट, होना चाहिए। थैंक यू।
My question is related to usage of technology again in safety. In a sense, there are simulators available, right? For smaller things, you use simulators, right? For learning and other purposes. Where life is at stake, right? When we talk about manufacturing in hazardous oil and gas or be it chemical pharma. So, is there any mechanism already being used by the companies to simulate, like, you simulate on computer screen various incidents, what could go wrong, and then act accordingly? I don't think, I have never seen any case study of such a kind. So is there some discussion happening or it's just, thank you.
Yes, there are so many techniques available. If you can classify process safety और वर्कप्लेस सेफ्टी, तो वर्कप्लेस सेफ्टी के लिए आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस के थ्रू बार कोड वगैरह ऐसे आते हैं जो आप हेलमेट वगैरह पे या PPEs पे या इवन बॉडी के मोशन पे तक कैमरे आजकल ऐसे आ रहे हैं जो आइडेंटिफाई करते हैं कि आप हेलमेट पहने या नहीं पहने, PPEs पहने या नहीं पहने, सूट पहने या नहीं पहने। बट पैरेलली यदि हम प्रोसेस सेफ्टी की बात करें तो ऐसे बहुत सारे सिमुलेटर्स हैं जिसमें आप अलोहा है, फास्ट है DNV का, उसको लेकर हम लोग मॉडलिंग करते हैं, कर सकते हैं। बट ये टेक्नोलॉजी डेफिनेटली अभी महंगी है। जो आप, मैं ह्यूमन जो बिहेवियर बेस्ड सेफ्टी की या जो मैं नॉर्मल वर्कप्लेस सेफ्टी की बात कर रहा हूँ, कॉस्ट इन्वॉल्व है, बहुत सारी कंपनीज कर रही हैं, कर सकते हैं।
can there not be a cluster-based approach on these things, like you build a simulator for some process plant and see where things, you simulate the maximum possible scenarios where things could go wrong. And then, you know, based on that, you take corrective action. If this happens, this can be done. So this is more like a, you know, proactive approach to all these possible incidents than the reactive one.
It is done and it is being practiced also. Actually, there are many risk assessment softwares available. What he mentioned is FAST, like for example, is developed by DNV, where possible scenarios are created. Like for example, a tank is there. If it bursts out, how much radiation it will be going into, how much area it will be affecting. If suppose there is a gas leak, that how much distance it would be traveling and what would be the concentration at different wind velocity levels. So softwares are available. In fact, that is being made mandatory now in environmental impact assessment study time itself. So when you put up your industry, if you say that I am storing 20 tons of, let's say, benzene or 50 tons of alcohol, then in case of fire, what would happen? And then I am supposed to build protections against that. So this is already being done and this is already being very well practiced also. It's being made part of a regulation also. But there could be many other techniques also, but preventive techniques are like this only, and which is being practiced.
Thank you. Yeah, please.
In the race of development, many developed countries and first world countries are pushing their product to the second world and developing countries. So as a India, we are developing country right now. So do we have any roadmap to stop certain reactions or certain products that can save our country and finally globe also?
It's a difficult question actually. See, it's not governed based on the environment or regulation alone. It's based on economics also. Like if you see that many things which came to countries and then shifted to China and now being shifted to us, and maybe if our regulations become more tighter and if we are become more vigilant as a citizens also, maybe it will shift again to Africa, for example. So this is an ongoing process which is governed by economics, government policies, and our needs actually. Our needs are also there. We have to give employment to so many people, so there maybe we would be compromising also. But it evolves over the period. Your regulations become tighter, your public becomes more aware, you also become financially more secure, and you also start saying, no, I will not allow this. And gradually things evolve over the period. So it's not easy to answer that when and how it can happen. Policies are policy normally evolve over the period. There are many rules being made, like for example, manufacture, storage and import of hazardous chemical rule has come. It was very primitive kind of rule initially, but that is being improved to increase it, give it more teeth. So gradually it happens actually.
I have one question to Mr. Sushil. This is regarding, can you just please elaborate this net carbon zero? So it will be beneficial for everyone.
Okay, net zero means your carbon emission would be zero. So you would not be emitting any emission directly or indirectly into the environment. There are three types of emissions, by the way, which are called scope 1, scope 2 and scope 3. Scope 1 is if you burn any fuel in your company. So whatever carbon dioxide you emit is scope 1. So you stop burning any fuel inside your company, at least the fossil fuel. That's one control. Second is scope 2, indirect emissions. So if you are using energy, electrical energy, then somebody is producing electrical energy somewhere else and he is generating emissions on your behalf. So it's an indirect emission. So you must stop that emission also. That's a very tricky thing to say that I'll not stop. Would I stop using energy at all? No, it's not like that. Rather, I would be investing or using renewable energies. So I shift gradually my all energy needs to renewables. But there is another catch that all things cannot be met with renewables alone. Like for example, solar energy, it's available only in the daytimes. So what would happen in the night? So maybe wind. Wind can take care of round the clock, but most of the time, these two together cannot meet your all energy needs. So then you have to look for any other renewable sources. Like for example, a lot of investment is being done on the green hydrogen. That is supposed to be a future fuel, which will solve a lot of issues on energy. And third is scope 3. Scope 3 is that if anybody else, your supplier is emitting any energy because of you, like for example, you are purchasing some raw materials. So the raw material person, while producing his raw materials for you, is emitting energy. So you have to control that also. So you have to make him also green rather than you being green alone. So if you control all three, scope 1, scope 2, scope 3, then you become net zero finally. That's not so easy.
So this is what you mentioned is scope 1, 2 and 3 all together, and the cumulative of everything has to be zero, brought down to zero by 2070.
Yes.
So everything has to be like renewable based.
Everything
It has to be renewable based or maybe hydrogen
or
based.
some green energy or some other fuels. Like agro fuels are considered to be green because they have already been generated. They will in any case decompose into the environment. So if you are using them agro-based fuels, then that is considered to be net emitting, zero emitting fuels.
And one more thing regarding that scope 3.
Yeah.
What you mentioned is like suppose if somebody is supplying it to you, then he should not contribute GHG.
For your product.
For your product. So like whatever I am purchasing from him, at least that has to be. So whether there is any framework or maybe some sort of skeleton wherein like that scope 3, the way we are capturing, like how we are generating or maybe how we are procuring from some other sources under scope 1 and 2 is being monitored. Likewise, there is any framework or maybe some sort of skeleton wherein those information is to be captured. And we can assure like, okay, he is supplying X material and he is ensuring this.
So generally what is done is that the industry who is aspiring for net zero, they start collecting data from their suppliers on their production, their energy consumptions and their fuel consumptions. And then, inspire them to make themselves a net zero. So if he becomes net zero, then this person also becomes net zero for scope 3. And in fact, there are many other things also like transportation. There are a lot of transportation and fuel is being burned in by trucks or by any other means of transportation for raw material input and final product output. So that also you have to make zero. So scope 3 making zero is very challenging work. It's not so easy, but scope 1 and scope 2, which is directly in our hand, most of the people, they take target for scope 1. So our net zero target for 2040 is only for scope 1 and scope 2. For scope 3, we have committed only 20%. It's not even easy to calculate that. It's very challenging.
Sir, my question here that scope 3, so I'm here, yeah, sorry.
Yes.
So scope 3 monitoring, which I feel the big challenge to consider the this subcontract procedure that in India we have a lot of channels to for any services or product to have a subcontract. So this percentage what we decide that we can consider that up to which level we can extend, that is the correct way to go for this scope 3 monitoring?
The scope 3 targets actually are important for those who are subcontracting because there are many companies who are not manufacturing anything at all. In many multinational companies, they are outsourcing everything. So for them, making scope 1 and scope 2 zero doesn't make any sense. So for them, scope 3 is more important. So in fact, what they do is that they pressurize the suppliers. Like for example, we are supplying to Novartis, Pfizer, or many of the companies. So they also tell us that you should make your emissions zero so that our scope 3 emissions targets are met. So they have to take target for scope 3 because they can't say that I will be making only scope 1 or scope 2 targets. But since companies who are manufacturing mostly and not outsourcing, for them scope 1 and 2 are more important. So scope 3 is definitely important for the outsourcing companies, and anybody who sees the report or their report, they definitely take this a note that most of the emissions are coming from suppliers or for outsourcing partners. So you are just fooling the people by saying that my emissions are zero. So that's important.
Thank you, sir.
I think we'll have to close. Maybe one last question. He is raising hands for quite a long time. Oh, we are already 10 minutes exceeded our time. Yeah, this is the last one. Yeah, please.
Hello. I have a question that what is the role of a process technology or a purchase department in selecting the safe equipment?
For equipment.
Is there any role of purchase department or a technology department in this responsible care or ESG?
Yes. I'll park this question to.
I'll slightly elaborate it. Yeah. Like you have all the companies, they have a system of commercially L1, L2, L3. I did not see any system of T1, T2, T3. I mean, who is more technically competent or who is more superior technically. Yeah. This is my personal experience. By the way, we are a supplier of the technology.
Okay. Chinmay, can you answer this or should I?
Definitely in purchase also, there is a vendor evaluation system is there. In many systems, the vendor evaluation system not done by purchase. Or maybe purchase is there, but other than that, whether it's the EHS department or QA department, they are also involving, and then they are seeing the T1, T2, T3. Maybe the terminology is not there, T1, T2, T3, but then they are definitely verifying. Then they are meeting the requirement of the organizations in terms of maybe safety, environmental, other aspects are there, and then they are selecting the agencies. Definitely, again, somewhere in India or in many organizations, still even after even T1, T2, T3, sometimes this major play role is about the L1, L2, L3.
No, they always ask in kilos, price in kilos. How can you buy a technology in kilos? How can you expect that?
Okay. I'll try to add on to what Chinmay is saying, that normally we are not giving T1, T2, T3, that's the practice.
Yes.
But there are practices that you must have some minimum qualification.
Yes.
Which must be ascertained for you to become a contender. So normally this is the practice that this vendor must be qualified.
My point is you must have this, this is more important. T1, T2, T3 is more important. It has to be made mandatory. I've seen the companies buying, such a flimsy products. It fails within a week. And our cost is almost double of others. People don't buy from us. Of course, Deepak Nitrite is our customer, they buy. They are paying premium to us.
So they must be learning by hard methods. I mean, if this fails, then next time they will be learning
this T1, T2, T3 system should be implemented or, involved, implemented in this process.
Yeah,
okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you, Bhavan. I'll hand it over to you.
On lighter note, basically in India we are having two kind of customers. So you can sell, I would say, Nirma having 50 rupees, and you can have, I would say, higher quality of 100. So if you want to sell your product, you should have all the requirement based on the customer need. Rather than saying that, okay, if you are having very high technology for one product, but that is not a requirement of customer, they will not go for it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, sir. Please. And I was listening all the discussions, and I, being a consultant, I want to add something to your question in just few minutes. By storytelling. मेरा एक friend है मुंबई में. His name is Mr. Murthy. He was sharing me one amazing story of the same concept. हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर ने एक बहुत बढ़िया प्रोजेक्ट मार्केट में निकाला है. They were searching for the best consultant of the world. पूरे वर्ल्ड में से बहुत सारे प्रपोजल्स आए and they have finalized 5 consultants for the हिंदुस्तान यूनिलीवर. 5 कंसल्टेंट को बुलाया गया, डायरेक्टर्स थे, डिसीजन मेकर्स थे, बैठे, सब लोगों ने अपना प्रेजेंटेशन दिया. इट वाज अ 3 days ऑफ होल एक्टिविटी. हाफ डे का सबको प्रेजेंटेशन का चांस मिला, कैसे एग्जीक्यूट करेंगे एंड एवरीथिंग. एंड मिस्टर मूर्ति की कंपनी, ही वाज सो श्योर कि मेरी कंपनी को ही प्रोजेक्ट मिलेगा. रीजन बिंग कि सर मेरे पास बेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी है, मेरे पास बेस्ट टीम है, मेरे पास बेस्ट प्लान है, आई हैव एवरीथिंग बेस्ट, मेरे पास ग्रेटेस्ट प्रोडक्ट है, नोबडी कैन डिनाई मी। एंड जब 15 दिन बाद 20 दिन बाद रिजल्ट अनाउंस हुए, ऑब्वियसली आप समझ गए होंगे उनकी कंपनी सिलेक्ट भी नहीं हुई। तो देन इन अ क्यूरियोसिटी वो वापस मिलने गए उस कंपनी के डायरेक्टर को, हिंदुस्तान यूनिवर्सिटी ऑफिस को वापस मिलने गए। एंड देन ही आस्क्ड टू द डिसीजन मेकर, हमारा प्राइसिंग भी एक्सेप्टेबल उस पोजीशन में था, प्रोडक्ट भी बढ़िया थी, बाकी लोगों ने क्या पिच किया हम जानते हैं, हमने उससे बेस्ट पिच किया, हमने उनसे सब कुछ बेस्ट बनाया, हमने सब कुछ बेस्ट किया। तो डिसीजन मेकर ने, हिंदुस्तान यूनिवर्सिटी के डिसीजन मेकर ने ये आंसर दिया, और ये आंसर मेरे जहन में छप गया। वो आंसर ये था, मिस्टर मूर्ति, हु वांट्स बेस्ट प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट? पीपल वांट एक्सेप्टेबल प्रोडक्ट इन द मार्केट। देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन बेस्ट एंड एक्सेप्टेबल। सो प्राइसिंग इज नॉट एट ऑल इशू। मुझे ऐसा लगता है एज अ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एज अ कंपनी, व्हेन यू आर पिचिंग समवन फॉर अ प्रोडक्ट, प्राइसिंग इज नॉट द कंसर्न। ऐसा भी नहीं है कि सामने वाला पैसा पे करेगा नहीं करेगा, क्या आप उनके एक्सेप्टेबल लेवल पे प्रोडक्ट बना सकते हो? दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन, एंड द कस्टमाइजेशन इज द आंसर। इफ यू कैन कस्टमाइज समथिंग फॉर योर क्लाइंट, definitely they will give you the money what you want. Absolutely. Right? Absolutely, absolutely. But thank you so much. And आपने questions पूछे तो इतना अच्छा discussion हुआ. Thank you so much all the dignitaries everyone. Let's give a big hand. Fantastic. बहुत बढ़िया. Thank you everyone for wonderful questions. And this is a time for the felicitation. So let me invite, first of all, our young leaders, get set ready, right? Okay, so would like to invite first of all Archana for the gratitude plant. Let's give a big hand to our young HR leaders of SHRP. Requesting to felicitate Dr. Devesh Patel in the moment. Also with the Momento